right, so now we're going to look at the errors that affect the trial balance right here. We would have done these in the last videos, the errors that do not affect the trial balance totals. Now, we're going to look at those errors that affect the trial balance total. And of course, for this, we use a suspense account. And I mean, three ways that this could happen. We could probably add up our debit side, add up our credit side, and there was some incorrect additions that we did, wrong computation, and therefore we got something different. All right. Another thing could be that we made an entry on the debit side and not on the credit side, and vice versa, and that would throw off the balances in the trial balance. Of course, we could have put a different total on the credit side at the time of entering the information as opposed to what we placed on the credit side. So we might put 103 and another side put 130. And those are three ways that we can actually have a difference in terms of the effects, the errors affecting the trial balance. So let's look at this now. All right, so here goes. So suspense account. We'll use the suspense account whenever we have that problem. So the suspense account, this is used when the debit and credit sides of an account are not equal. That's important to note. When they're not equal, we will draw up a suspense account to temporarily balance the account until the discrepancy is found. Look at an example in a chronological sequence. So the first thing we do is we are going to insert the amount to balance the trial balance. So here's A powers. The trial balance as at the 31st of December 2023. And the total of the debit side is $200,000, but the credit side is $199,000. So we're $1,000 short. So what we do is we insert the amount to balance the trial balance. So we are going to then create a suspense account and put the difference on the side that was shorter. So that would allow us now to have the balance here of $200,000. Okay, so I hope that is clear. What do we do next? Secondly, we insert the amount on the same side in the suspense account. So we are going to open a suspense account. Remember now, students, that we placed the difference in the trial balance on the credit side. So therefore, it says, secondly, we insert the same amount on the same side of the suspense account. So we open a suspense account, all right? And then we're going to place the difference on the credit side, the same side as what is up here. So on the credit side, all right? So after we have done that, let's move forward to see what else we are going to have to do. So thirdly, we will locate the error and take corrective actions in the journals and ledgers, which will allow us to close the suspense account because it's now we would balance the trial balance, so we would not need the suspense account anymore. So how do we do this? So let's go. We realize that a check of $1,000 received from S. Walters was recorded in the cash book, but not in the personal account of the customer. So our cash book would have been debited and we were supposed to credit S. Walters $1,000. That's the reason why this is short by $1,000. So how do we correct this? So Walters, because the debtor paid us, so debtor account is decreasing. When assets decrease, we credit. And then we are going to have to also bring back our suspense account because we had it already. And since we credited S. Walter with suspense, we're going to have to debit the suspenses account. So January 31, S. Walter 1,000 and we balance off. So now our suspense account is closed. So we took the corrective action and we closed the suspense account. And of course, we have to do the journal entries. So it was January 31, we found the error and we debited the suspense account. So just to remind you, we debited the suspense account, correct the error, and we credited S. Walter's account. All right, so that's how we have the account to be debited written first, then we indent and write the account to be credited. All right, and then we put in the amount, $1,000, and we know the folio, GL for suspense and SL for S. Walters. So that is simply how we do a suspense account. What they may do, however, next is to give you a range of transactions with the errors that we find. All right, so here's one, and this is taken from the POA textbook for the Caribbean by Frank Wood and Sheila Robinson, fifth edition. I love using this book. It's the book that I used often. All right, so a trial balance as at the 31st of December shows a difference of $77. All right, and the shortage being on the debit side. Open a suspense account, ledger accounts, and the journal entries to rectify the errors that we find below. So on February 28th, we found the errors. One is a check paid to L King was not entered into L King's account. The other was that the purchases account was undercast by 20. And the last is that we received a check from K. Saunders that was not entered into K. Saunders' account. Interesting. So let us do this one now. It said here that a trial balance was short $77 on the debit side. So we know automatically we draw up our suspense account and we're going to put that on the same side, the $77. And this was December 31. So that's why you see January 1 balance brought down, because we have to balance off and bring our account forward as you would already mastered with the double entry. After that, what we're going to do now is to record the errors. The first error is a check paid to L King has been correctly entered into the cash book, but not into King's account. So how do we correct that? So we paid to L King, we entered it in the cash book, but not in L King's account. So now we have to enter that into L King's account. So that would be on the debit side of L King, a liability, and we're decreasing the liability. So we're going to debit L King's account, and then we're going to credit the suspense account, because every debit entry has a corresponding credit entry. Let's move forward to the second one. The purchase account was undercast by $20. So what we're going to do is to then record in the purchases account, because it was undercast, it was short. So to make it back, we're going to add the $20. So we debit purchases account, and then of course, the suspense account, we're going to credit, because every debit entry has a corresponding credit entry. All right, and let's go again. The last one says a check received from K. Saunders was not entered into Saunders' account. So it was entered into the cash book, but not into Saunders' account. This is a debtor. The debtor paid us. Asset is decreasing. So we would, of course, credit K. Saunders, as you can see here. And if we credited K. Saunders with suspense, that means the suspense account we're going to have to debit. And there we go. All right. Now, what is important about this is that the suspense account will come to the same total on both sides. And then we would not have any need for the suspense account anymore. So let's just balance off the suspense account. Click. All right. So underline, and 120 plus 150 gives us 170. And there we go, 170. So both sides would actually become equal. Oh, we have to double line. So let's get the double line here. So so there we go with the double line. All right. Now that's how we do the ledger part. But we want to do also the journal part. Make it easier. Let me just put this. All right. So let us backtrack. So how did you remember how we got there? For the first one with L King, we debited L King and we credited suspense account, right? So we're going to write that now. So we're going to go into the journal and we write the date. February 28th, we had a debit account to be debited first, which was L King, and we credit the Suspense account, right? And the amount was $20. So 20 here, debit, and then for the account to be credited, we put $20. All right, I'm going to leave out the narrative here. All right, let me insert a row below. Let's go to the second one, which was, let me delete the drawings, the purchases. It was undercast. What we did was we debited purchases, the purchase account, and we credited the Suspense account. So let's go February 28th, debited purchases, and we credited the Suspense account, and the total was, oh, this was $20. 20 here, and over here should be 20. This should be 150. All right, back on track. And then the last thing that we'll have is the K Saunders. So for K Saunders, what we did, we credited K Saunders right here, and we would have debited K Saunders in the Suspense account. So I'm not seeing it there. I didn't fully finish. So K Saunders, right, February 28th. So in this one, the last one, in the Suspense account, we debited K Saunders, as you can see, and then we actually credited the K Saunders account. All right, so let me insert. Debited Suspense account, and we credited K Saunders account. And of course, this would be 93. And it's as easy as that. Very, very simple stuff. All right, so I hope this video was useful for you, and see you in the next video.